All right, welcome to the fourth video, third review, and the final thing for the evening. As up this time is Rustic Defense. Rustic Defense is a fantasy tower defense game with, say it with me now, roguelike elements.
Boo.
Generated environment with options to explore your own way. Research skill and heroes. Choose path, build towers, and upgrade them. Can we officially declare roguelike elements to be out of control?
Yeah, no.
I mean, the problem is that they use that for procedural generation.
Yes, and that's actually kind of it's a problem here because, how do I put this? Tower defense games are usually static for a reason. And that reason...
Tower defense, usually you want to be plannable.
Yeah. This game isn't very plannable, and it does that on a couple of fronts here. Not only does, the path layouts get randomized, but that whole choose your own way thing, you see this gray...
Choose your own way, as long as it's one of the ways that's good, which we're not going to tell you what they are in advance.
It doesn't really matter. Like, at least as far as I could tell. Because... So, this game doesn't have waves. Not as we would understand traditional tower defense waves. Getting back to these gray clouds here, now you see you get rid of them to unveil more of the map. Well, the thing is, every time you get rid of the clouds, you unlock a new wave.
Yeah,
no matter
starts.
But here's the thing. You're actually encouraged to do that during a wave.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get cash bonuses. At the expense of having to deal with more enemies.
Oh boy, and look who the turrets can fire at the same dude and screw you over.
Yeah. Also, everything is way too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's also everything you buy in a given weapon category will increase every time you buy a new tower.
Well, and I messed up and didn't buy the mine at the start. So now I'm horribly low on funds.
Yep. Now you can sell, but to make a long story short, you're always going to be playing catch up here, and not just because of how the progression system with the clouds operates, because here's the true secret about where the actual focus here is in terms of the roguelike elements. Meta progression.
Oh boy.
What they're actually encouraging you to do is last as long as possible, because I believe this is each area is 50 waves, and that includes boss wave. And here's the thing. The bosses can overwhelm your defenses if they get to the end. No matter... because how it works in terms of damage procurement, in the left-hand corner of the bar up there, it gives you the amount of farmers, villagers, defenders. Each time an enemy hits your your hub, your base, you lose one of those. And if you hit 0, you're dead. Unless the boss gets there. That's just an instant game over. And couple that with the lack of ability to actually plan out your routes. Because this is almost a real-time tower defense game. Like, technically speaking, it can be more traditionally wave-based if you actually wait for all the enemies to die. But then you lose out on the gold bonuses.
Right.
That's the risk versus reward. So it's a bit exasperating when you go 14, 15 rounds and you're kind of just placing things here because, that's where the troops are going.
Right.
And once again, you can't really plan out a strategy here with how everything unfolds. That's the thing about your traditional tower defense games. Yeah, you may lose because you didn't know how Wave 7 was going to go, but that's the thing. You lose that, and then you adjust your strategy for the next go. You can't do that here.
Right.
And I suppose, okay, plus 10 points for, trying some new stuff in the tower defense genre, minus several million for implementation.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I hated this game.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
It's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of tower defense games in general. Like, they're a genre like I'll play a couple of hours of, and then
Doesn't
I will.
look very interesting either. Like visually.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, you can level up your troops?
Yes, and that's where the meta progression comes into play. You earn experience, and then you go and you will unlock additional weaponry, additional things that it can do, like more damage, better spread. You can also augment with cards every round, and indeed, that is how you unlock more stuff in the game. Like when you're actually building towers. Like, okay, for example, when you unlock guns, then in the rotation there will be gun cards. You pick the gun card, you will get guns in the active round. Like I said, this game is doing some unconventional tower defense stuff. It just did not come together at all. Like, to wit, a thing I haven't mentioned yet is this game also tries bringing in the other big flavor of tower defense games. Your hero / avatar focused ones. Only in this case, it's just a hero. Like, you may not have noticed, but like at your base, there is a unit that will jump out and kill an enemy. That's your hero, who is upgradable and gains levels and stuff. It's just he's so useless outside of marginally defending your base. Maybe that improves with levels, but I didn't have the patience enough to see what would happen there.
No, that's fair.
Once again, it's a neat idea. It just a haphazard execution at best. In fact, I think those words sum up my review of this game. Neat ideas, haphazard execution, just did not. These are elements that did not work together, or they were not planned well together. It just, the mix didn't mix. It clashes with how a tower defense game actually is supposed to work.
Right.
And it's not helped by the pricing, because they're actually asking quite a bit for a tower defense game. $10. No. No, I like, it's like in and of itself, I couldn't say that's a bad price, but it's like, once again, tower defense games aren't very expensive by and large. Like, and if they are, they're usually like Defense Grid or Toy Soldiers, something that has, bigger production values than usual, or has had a lot of content in it. This is like the equivalent of something like Field Runners or the iBomber series, something that was like built for mobile first and then brought to the PC. Although, as far as I know, it's a PC-born tower defense game. It's a smaller one, let's say. And once again, you can get quite a few tower defense games for this price, for cheaper, and they work properly as tower defense games. Yeah, this one just fucked around with the core elements of what a tower defense game is, to be actually enjoyable. Unfortunate, but I do admire the gumption and wherewithal to experiment. The thing is, not all experiments are successful.
Right.
That is important to keep in mind. So with that in mind, I think that'll about do it here, unless you two have anything further on Rustic Defense.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, February 11th, we'll be welcoming Max Mraz. I'm assuming that's how that. It's M-R-A-Z. Feels like there should be a vowel in between M and R, but I'm guessing it's Mraz. One of those things we'll ask. Of Moth Atlas Games. So, another solo dev. They put out a couple of projects. Actually, 3 projects so far in Hallows Eve, Yarntown, Ocean's Heart, and currently they are working on the forthcoming Tomb Water. So, quite a bit to talk about here. We also do have a new episode of MSP in the works. And as far as we know, Mac will be there. Again, I hate that I have to state that week to week, but, it's his unstable life. And on Friday, February 13th, we don't have a morning show, but we do have another Multiplayer Mayhem scheduled, as we will be showcasing the platform fighter Elemental Brawl. We don't get a lot of those on the indie circuit. For those who don't know, platform fighter, that's shorthand for, or a proper genre name for, we made this like Super Smash Brothers. So,
a fighting game where you're jumping around and knocking people off of places instead of standing approximately in a line and trying to reduce each other's hit points to 0.
Yeah. And this time out, it'll be all of us doing the Multiplayer Mayhem. So look for that then, and until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.